the next one. Okay, well, now we're on to the public services meeting. We're a little bit behind schedule, but
Mike Moss, Public Services Director. We have a few items today, but unfortunately, we'd like to start off with another executive session on contract negotiations for, let's start with 10 minutes.
okay, executive session, contract negotiations, 10 minutes.
Thank you.
We will take care of that. Okay, back from executive session, no decisions were made. Move into the agenda.
Good morning, commissioners. Are we recording?
Sorry.
We're okay.
Yep, we're
Okay.
good.
Tracy Jackson, Building and Planning, Wayne Nelson, Planning Manager, and Mike Wilson, Building Official. I just wanted to go over the November permit numbers. We were pretty much on track and everything is looking good in November. And then Thanksgiving happened and we've really, excuse me, slowed down. The counter is very, very busy. But the permits coming in have actually trickled down a little bit. So the next month, I'm curious to see what our ending numbers will be for year end. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. November still looks good. We're on track and the money's there, which is nice. The other thing on the agenda is Planning Commission. So last week we talked about, I have stacks everywhere. Last week we talked about moving forward and appointing, the board decided to appoint Wayne as the 7th ad hoc member of the Planning Commission. And before we can do that, we need to update the code. So Doug weighed in, sent everybody an email. I'm assuming you want us to take the lead and go ahead and get the code updated and changed. Excuse me. So we will work. Wayne and I spoke this morning. I believe we're going to try to attempt to get everything done in January. So we'll get that going and it'll be a public meeting in front of the board. But
so one of your senior members will be leaving with the change.
at the end of January,
Mr.
yes.
Sudar, right?
Yes.
Right. Do you have, he's been on for quite a while.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm assuming there'll be some kind of recognition or.
Usually it comes from the board's office, thanking him for his years of service.
Mhm.
We haven't, I mean, nobody that I know of has reached out from the board's office, but we can get a letter, I mean, drafted and ready for him. Usually it's just kind of a standard letter that comes thanking them for their years of service and the board's appreciation for their volunteering.
Okay.
Do you want it to come from us or from the, usually it comes from the board's office.
Yeah.
You want me to work with Kelly and Bailey and get something out? I know Kelly has something scheduled, was gonna tell him that his position had been filled, but I asked her to pull that because the appointment of Wayne is not official yet because we can't update the code. And I think that's something that we're working with Doug on too, because based on his email, I don't know if we can appoint Wayne to that position.
Right.
So we're working with Doug and the board. But I'm planning on bringing that forward in January, so.
So it's one more meeting. Because they don't have they don't have a meeting this month?
We don't have a planning commission meeting in December, and as of right now, we have a tentative agenda item, but I don't know that there's gonna be one for January yet. It depends on what the surface mine, what transpires from that with our call with our attorney this week. So we're playing with holiday schedule and then agenda item.
I
There
know,
may not be
I
one.
know we send letters when people, go off kind of normally.
Yep.
And we don't have long termers.
I know, and he
But
has devoted a
I
lot
think
of time.
both he and Mark, I think, have both served close to that many years.
Robert, his seniority is a lot
Yeah.
more than Mark's,
Yeah.
yes.
So
So,
I think it's important to acknowledge
And
that.
then the applicant that we spoke of on Thursday, the gentleman, the citizen,
Mhm.
he came in and applied this morning.
Oh, good.
He was
Good.
in here.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to talk to you, but he wants to fast track stuff. But we're about 2 weeks out maybe on
Okay.
permits. So, and that's all permits. So when we get them done earlier, we call them and send it out and get it out to them. So,
I could tell he was here.
so he did apply this morning though. So we will work to get his permit out.
Great.
Does the board have any
Thank you. I
questions for
appreciate
us?
that.
Yes. I was trying to talk fast. I know you guys
Yeah,
are busy this morning.
nothing keeps Mr. Suter from when another District 3 comes open, he can certainly put his name in, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Will Tossed, Facilities Service Manager. So I want to give you a quick couple updates on some projects that we have going on, continued. The HHS roof is the first one. It is about 90% completed. All they have left to do is a hatch in the middle of the building for ease of access to mechanical equipment for contractors and maintenance employees. So they just need a stretch of about 5 days where there's no rain, and then that job will be fully completed. The roof, the drains.
But you said they need 5 days without rain. This is December.
We're hoping. You never know.
Yeah.
So that's what we're waiting, and then that job will be completed. One of the major upgrades on that roof was they installed a railing, which is good for the safety of employees when they're changing filters on the mechanical equipment. I know I had got a lot of feedback from maintenance staff that they really need a railing up there. So that was, part of the job specs, and that is completed. The next update I'd like to give is the annex HVAC. So as you've seen, we had the crane over there. The air handlers are completed and hooked up, pushing air. The next part of that project is the boilers, which will be early to mid-January. And then once those are connected to controls, the annex HVAC project will be completed. The third update is we currently have an ongoing leak below the Hall of Justice. Maintenance staff, Brian discovered the leak, just happened to pop a hatch in the workout room at the Hall of Justice and noticed some water that was clear. So after, tracing that, all the toilets still flushed. We had water was clear. We didn't lose any water to the building. Then it led us, to contact the city of Kelso, determine it was fresh water, which then, we contacted some plumbers. Plumbers showed up, Sessions Plumbing, and it is from the fire system. So currently right now over there, I have a project coordinator, Dylan, as we speak, with a fire company, investigating the leak and see what it will take to patch that up. City of Kelso's in the loop as well.
So since that's fire suppression, is that an occasion for emergency action on our part?
Not yet. We actually had a good discussion last week, at the city of Kelso on Friday, seeing if we could keep the building open or not. We did still have pressure to the fire system in the building. City of Kelso gave us a green light to go ahead and keep occupancy and keep the leak going at the same point. We're pumping out that crawl space to make sure we can keep that building occupied for courts and sheriff and records and everybody else there. The plan of attack, once we hear back from the plumber or the fire suppression company, is probably do it on Saturday. Or actually probably more like for sure do it on Saturday. We gotta get it done this week, but we don't want to interrupt any actions at HOJ. So we're working, it might turn into an emergency. I come to you guys for an emergency declaration, depending on the cost of that project. If it's a quick repair on Saturday, it'll be below the threshold. We can just sign it in-house, but we may have to come back to you guys later this week. I know you don't have a Tuesday or a Wednesday afternoon meeting, but it might be a phone calls to you guys to get the okay to declare an emergency so we can go over the threshold for signing a contract for the contractor to fix that repair on Saturday. And unfortunately for us, it's unmetered because it's a fire suppression system. So we were not aware of water going into that building off of our building. So we've actually talked about it in staff. We had a quick meeting this morning at 8:30 with our team to figure out the next steps along with Will of trying to fix that this week. But once they're in there, talk about maybe put a meter on it so we can actually see if there's actually flow going through there, since it won't be
Yeah.
shown on our bill.
It makes you wonder how long it's been going before somebody decided to lift a hatch.
Exactly right. Kind of like your own house. You lift up the hatch to your crawl space,
Yeah.
it's full of water. You don't know how long it's been there for.
Yeah.
Kind of spooky.
But wouldn't we see that in the bill? Bill?
No, because our billing's for the domestic side only. I believe, is that correct, Sean? Correct, yes. So it's not it's not a metered part of the billing there for the fire.
So far.
Yeah, it might be. You probably wonder where millions of gallons went. No, it's not that much, but it's a lot. Yeah, as I showed you guys a video this morning, it's a lot of water coming out of there.
Yeah.
It still seems like a strange answer because any pipe that goes into any building, at least the utilities have to know how much they're losing.
On fire, I'm not 100% sure. I agree with that side because it's chlorinated water, so it's been treated. So
Oh, here comes our savior.
Oh, she knows.
So you're correct. Newer fire systems are metered, but I'm assuming this was put in prior to City of Kelso requiring a separate meter on your fire system than your domestic. So that newer systems, they do put a meter on it, and that's one of the reasons why when things break, you don't know that they're broken.
Yeah.
So we did find out last Friday, it was City of Kelso Water. They came over and tested the water and found it was chlorinated and it was clear. So we had a pretty good idea it was from a leak, not just heavy rains coming in, because it was actually crystal clear water. And it smelled like a YMCA pool when you walked into the basement down there. So we knew it was chlorinated water.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And the drainage from that goes where?
Well, before we started pumping out, I believe just probably into the ground. And now we're pumping it into sewer?
Yep.
Into the sewer line with the city approval,
The sewer line or the storm drain?
sewer.
Sewer. Okay, so all right, thank you.
With that chlorine shouldn't go in the storm drain, right?
Yeah, correct.
Theoretically.
Can't go in the
Theoretically,
chlorine,
yeah.
yeah. So we made sure we before we started pumping, we contacted the city and I asked them exactly where they wanted us to put their
Yeah.
water at.
Well, that's probably better than the ground because that's all. You'll have a building just go.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if there's a chance to band it this week without having to turn the water off, we'll do that and do a major repair over the weekend just to slow down that water. That's what we're hearing, hoping to hear back from the plumber if there's like a quick fix for now.
Any further questions on that? Thank you.
We have Sean Rowe talk about the bid award for Cook Ferry dredge spoils.
Morning, Commissioners. Sean Rayleigh, Finance Manager, Public Works. Just want to just give a quick update on the Cooks Ferry material removal bid that will be awarded tomorrow morning at the 9 o'clock meeting. And see if you had any questions on that. So we are awarding to the highest bidder, which was JL Stordahl at $2.06 a cubic yard. There is a minimum of 150,000 cubic yards, and we estimate that there's approximately 400,000 cubic yards in that area that was defined in the bid. And just want to see if there's any questions or concerns.
And we sell dredge spoils kind of on a regular basis, about every 3 or 4 years? Is that?
I
or is
don't
it
know.
More often than that.
I don't know, on the consistency of it from something of this scale is not as often.
This is phase one out of, there's, did you, 3 or 4 lots out there?
There's gonna be 4 lots total.
Yeah, and all the money has to go, I believe, to the parks. Is that correct? For the sale of that?
Yes, it must be dedicated for recreational facilities and recreational administration costs throughout the county.
How much was the volume?
The area that was bid on was approximately 400,000 cubic yards.
Okay, 400,000.
And the contract says they'll take at least 150.
Correct. Yeah, we wanted to have a minimum on there, so it made it worth for both parties.
And that's a lot of trucks, right? I assume it's gonna be trucked. West Side Highway?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So I think fortunately that's in Commissioner Dahl's district.
So in 2 years, they have 2 years to take it out?
Yeah, they have until the end of 2025.
So if they only take 200,000 out, then we just rebid for the last 200,000 that's in there? Okay.
That's correct.
There's a minimum of 150 at the 400. So
Mhm.
yeah, so there's a chance that they don't have job sites or a place to take it to. They may only take the minimum amount. Okay.
Oh, so they have to take at least 150.
150, yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And Sean, is that money then placed in a special account to make sure it's not commingled with general fund?
It is. We have already created a special revenue fund for it
Hmm.
to make sure that money is not commingled and is available for use by recreation.
You don't want us getting our hands on it. It's okay to say
At the
that.
pleasure of the board.
But that's actually a pretty nice revenue stream for parks. We haven't had
Yeah.
anything like that in a long time.
And it
But we
creates,
can certainly dip into that fund to repay the general fund for those matches for the RCO grants, so.
and it creates a nice spot for any future dredge spoils to go to.
How much a total of the four sites out there? They're close to 1 million?
I believe it's closer to 2 million cubic yards total.
Wow.
And this is one of the rare dredge spoil spots in Washington State that's actually called out by RCW as well. So it has to be maintained as a dredge spoil site in perpetuity.
Does the money from that sale have to go to that particular site or can it be used anywhere within the county?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, my understanding is it can be used anywhere within the county.
This, I know you gave us an email updated of what all the water cost. Is everything pretty much back to normal?
Yeah, actually,
Pretty
I've
good
been,
shape on that?
yeah, we're in really good shape. We actually closed Alpha Drive again over the weekend. I believe Saturday we got so much rain in the afternoon. But opened back up yesterday. I have some pictures here of the slide out on Clamor River Road. So I think it was just mainly culverts and some roads, trees on roads. But other than that, it got cleaned up. Most of those areas got cleaned up pretty well. We actually survived pretty good on the weekend.
Good.
Visiting with our supervisors earlier today, most shops only got called out once or twice over the weekend. It was mainly for trees on Saturday afternoon when the winds picked up.
How about up to Cougar?
Cougar, just the email that I believe you guys got from either is it Susan or someone
I
from
saw
the state or somebody.
DOT
That's the only information I've got received on Cougar.
that they got one lane open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not your responsibility. That's state highway.
that's state highway. Yeah,
Gosh.
correct. But we do have some roads in that area.
So my wife and I had occasion to go out on West Side Highway to to play with the symphony at concerts at the Adventist Church, which is right across the street from all those new townhouses that were built. And the question that we had is, when is a stoplight going in there? That development has really changed the complexion of that. Again, I know that's a state highway, but
So I'm not aware of a timeline for that. When those they came through building and planning, their traffic study did not show a warrant for a stoplight there. But that will be up to the state moving forward as it is their intersection. And I would not be surprised if they don't put a stoplight in and they go the roundabout route,
Yeah.
because that is their first reaction now.
Oh,
They like the roundabouts.
I guess there is
Well-
room. for-
Well, they have one down on Highway 12 going into, is it Lucky Eagle before Oakville there? I mean,
I
you're going
believe-
50-mile-an-hour highway and all of a sudden zoom down to a roundabout.
And there's several on SR 14, and there's
Same thing on SR
same thing
14.
on 14, and then there's several going into Ridgefield as you head west off of
Oh,
I-5.
and we have the ones in Woodland area.
Yes.
Yeah.
The picture I gave you is the Klamath River Road milepost, or actually, it's 4700 block, which is past the fish hatchery on the left. We took about 26 to 28 loads of debris out of there. So actually it's a fairly decent sized slide. This was actually taken, I believe, on Friday afternoon. Was it Friday? Sorry, I can't tell you for sure. I know we worked on it. No, it's Thursday. And then Friday we finished it up. So this was Thursday afternoon and Friday we finished off the road. So we did have to open up the bypass through the Weyerhaeuser land Thursday and Friday till we got completely cleaned up. And over the weekend, there was no more sloughing off, though. It kind of surprised us. We did have the sandbags open, so thank you for the declaration there. That actually came initially from the city of Kalama. They've actually made that request. We hand out 1,100 sandbags to the city of Kalama
Wow.
and 100 to local citizens that came up that usually got 3 or 4 at a time. So, but 1,100 to Kalama. So a fair amount.
Educate me. Way back when I was in school in Centralia, when they had some flooding, they'd have a pile of sand and you come and get the sandbag and fill it and do it as same
Very
thing
similar,
I'm
yep.
picturing.
Yep, yeah, we
okay.
have a holder for the sandbag and we have the sand there, shovel, we have a light plant. We have usually a couple people manning it, helping out. And
Yeah.
then we have a sign up sheet just so we know exactly where they're going and make sure they're a local citizen, but I don't think it's watched too closely. It's just the honor system and they come and grab what they need. Help, if they need help, we'll assist them along the way. The 1,100 for Kalama believe they actually just got the sand and took it to their location in Kalama. I don't think they actually made the sandbags here. They just took the sandbags and the sand to Kalama and did it down there.
Did it down there.
Yeah. So we had it open through the declaration, through the weekend or through the week. I don't believe anybody had any phone calls over the weekend for any sandbags at all.
There was no damage to the Kalama River Road itself.
No, not at all. And we flew that with a drone on Friday to see if there's anything further up. A lot of that's, I believe, out of the right of ways Weyerhaeuser property there. To see, initially they talked about a pond they thought it was up there, but it's a marshy land. They didn't see anything that was troubling above the hillside there. So, but it has been a place that's came to down in the past few years. It's a known spot for the crew down there.
Well, nice to know that it didn't get worse.
Correct. Yeah. We assumed on Saturday we're going back to that same spot.
You always worry about the freeway and between Woodland and Kalama because we've seen that a couple times.
Correct.
So the other item we have is on your agenda tomorrow is a supplemental agreement with Foundation Engineering. That is to extend the finish date from December 31st of 2023 to December 31st of 2024 and revise their negotiated hourly rates. The contract amount will not change. The reason we're extending this is they have done the design for 2 of the projects that will be constructed next year, and we always get a little help during construction when they're building walls and some of the testing that goes on, and we will issue them a task order for those tasks specific, but there's enough money in the contract to cover the little bit that we have left with them.
Is that a locally based firm?
So Foundation is actually out of Corvallis, and we've worked with them for many years. We worked with one geotech for 15, 20 years who recently retired. And so this is the tail end of that contract.
Corvallis. That was Washington, Oregon State?
Oregon, yes.
Thanks.
So we just, it kind of just keeps them on retainer. So when we're doing the construction problem, if we have an issue, we can give them a call. That's
Correct.
what we're trying to do.
That's what we're
Yeah.
trying to do, just to make us, because they're the geotech on record on that project. We have a different geotech that our on-call is with now for things that are newer and that we're working on, and we had him on call this past week in case we needed him to come out, so. And that firm is out of Seattle, I believe, or one of the suburbs of Seattle.
Perfect. Good, good. Anything else?
Not from us.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You've got a last item saying disaster resolution.
I
That
was,
Did you mean to say
we were just,
anything?
we were just talking about that's why I sent out the pictures and stuff and just kind of give you an update where we're at.
Yeah.
I believe it's on tomorrow's agenda because I think you guys signed last week, but it's on the consent tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we have to rescind that at a certain point.
Yes, we will have to rescind it.
Once FEMA pays the full amount.
I have not heard from DEM whether or not they're going to be asking us for amounts for this particular event. It wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I don't know if we as a county will meet the threshold amounts. But based on the flooding they had up in north of here, they will probably do a
Lewis
statewide
County,
declaration.
probably.
Yeah, Lewis and Thurstonite and Kittitas or Kitsap. I can't remember which one had a lot of flooding. Kitsap. So I am guessing the declaration will come out and they'll ask us what our costs were, which we were tracking, but I don't think we'll hit the threshold.
So it's on the consent agenda, the emergency resolution,
Correct.
and on the motion agenda, you want us to rescind it?
No, not
Not
yet. I
yet.
would say at a certain point we'll have to rescind it. Not yet.
It would be clever if we had to do it on the same day.
So any reports of additional damage on Spirit Lake Highway where the road's been washed out?
I haven't heard anything. I'm sure they were just mainly concentrating on places like Cougar and getting people back open and the roads cleared, but I haven't heard anything about Spirit Lake Highway or what their plan is for the spring. I know they're probably still figuring that out.
I would guess there would be more scouring from that because there was a lot of rain. Some June Lake and some of the totals you saw from higher up in the foothills of the Cascades are pretty high. Even at the landfill where we have to track it daily, we had the first 10 days of the month, we had 9 inches of rain at that location. So I know certain spots got a lot more that high and certain
Oh,
June
Sucker
Lake or
Creek
somewhere I
is-
heard like 12 inches of rain, like in a 72-hour period.
Sucker Creek is
Wow.
probably flowing pretty dark
Yeah,
with mud.
correct.
I know Outlet, the Silver Lake itself, was a full, I believe Patrick told me, a full foot over the weir. So it was flowing pretty good.
okay. Anything else from us?
Just
Okay.
a little bit over. Thank you.
We will. I think that takes care of business. We will adjourn.